Every week on our Facebook community group, we allow our viewers and listeners and community members to help us pick a topic for the show. And our 3 topics this week that were in the poll, we had our devs skipping out on Xbox One. What Xbox properties would you like to see as a TV show? Which we, like Chris said, we discussed earlier. And then, does the lack of VR alter your hype for the Xbox One? You know, we had that poll running all day today, and the winner was, are devs skipping out on Xbox One, and why? Now, I know, Chris, this is a topic that you were pretty hyped up on, because from a couple of different developers lately, you've heard some news their games aren't coming to Xbox One. So I guess fill our listeners in on the knowledge you know, man.
Yeah, so this started with a game called Shakedown Hawaii. Are you familiar with this game?
Yes, it's from the River City, or not River City Ransom.
No, for Retro City Rampage.
Retro City Rampage, yes.
Yeah, so Retro City was a great game that came to XBLA along with other consoles last gen. And then they had a surprise announcement at the Nintendo Indie Direct, which was back in April, I think. Maybe late March or April. But they showcased a lot of indie games coming to Switch, and one of those games was a game called Shakedown Hawaii. We hadn't really got a lot of additional information about the game until this week, and the developer they put a blog post up. The developer, by the way, is V-Blank Entertainment. They put a blog post up, kind of just giving you some more details about the game, a new trailer, some new screens, and then they confirm platforms. Now, the platforms are Steam, PS4, PlayStation Vita, Nintendo Switch, and Nintendo 3DS.
Really? I didn't know it was coming to 3DS and Vita. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I tweeted to the developer, and by the way, just want to give a shout out. Like anytime developers respond back, they do not have to do that.
Right.
And so it's awesome that they're communicating with the community. And look, we're not, we said this earlier, we're not IGN, we're not Polygon, we're just little guys trying to just kind of have fun with Xbox. So the fact that they even took the time to respond back, thank you for that. But this was a response, and I'm going to read it for you just so you have a total quote. My quote was just basically, are we going to get on Xbox? And then they said no. And then I came back and said, well, is there any potential in the future that we can get it? And this is their response. This is from the developer. I'm keeping the launch platforms narrow this time, so I have more time to spend on the game's development. Now, that quote in of itself sounds great, but then you hear the word that I'm keeping the launch narrow, and it's literally launching on every platform except for the Xbox.
Yeah.
Like that makes no sense whatsoever. And so that's kind of what got me down this track. And then yesterday, Fire Pro Wrestling World. Are you a Fire Pro Wrestling fan?
I have no idea what Fire Pro Wrestling is. I haven't watched wrestling in years. I used to watch wrestling all the time in high school and junior high and stuff. Haven't watched it.
Fire Pro Wrestling is one of my great loves.
One
of Spider-Man: Homecoming is the other one. Fire Pro Wrestling is fantastic, and so Fire Pro Wrestling World just went this week it went into early access on Steam, and then they confirmed launch that whenever it does come out, it's going to come out on Steam, and it's going to come out on PS4, and then the developer tweeted that they really want to put it on Switch.
Yeah,
but there's no mention of Xbox, and what blows my mind here, what I don't understand is that purposely the Xbox and the PS4 came out with very similar architecture, and at the beginning of this whole console generation, the talk was it is super easy. And this is from developers, super easy for us to port games from PS4 to Xbox or vice versa because they're basically the same architecture, right?
Right.
That's what we've heard. Then we've heard that Switch is easy to work on, but it still takes a little additional work, right? And so then I hear the games are trying to come to Switch and they're not coming to Xbox. So then I don't understand why, right. And that's why I wanted to talk about this.
The thing that doesn't make sense to me, right, is that if they're going to say it's because the install base isn't big enough, why putting it on Switch? I mean, I understand Switch is growing fast. Yeah. How many Switches? 2 million? Like a little over 2 million units?
Maybe, but they're going to grow as fast as Nintendo can make them. So, but yeah, I mean, it's still not
100%. Completely agree. But it's like they can't talk about install base because they're putting it on Vita, right? And they can't say it's because the Xbox is hard to develop for, because Xbox has made it incredibly easy. You can use your actual Xbox as a dev kit. You don't even need to buy a dev kit. They have it installed on every Xbox out there. You can make your games. And they said up to a point, I mean, you don't have to buy any of their software. The only time you have to use their stuff is when you want to add certain kinds of achievements or play online. Yeah. Other than that, you can do it all through their special software that comes with it. So it's like the cost isn't there. If it's developing just like it does on PS4, like I just don't get it, because people say Nintendo's hard to develop for. They say the 3DS is really hard to develop for. Yeah. And yet I don't get it, man. Like I literally don't have an answer for this, because it's like
blows my mind.
Because if you look at numbers, just Xbox, don't think about PlayStation, don't think about Switch. Look at it inside this little Microsoft, tube, right? Just Microsoft bubble. By itself, bubble. Sure.
Microsoft tube.
Tube was not the best phrasing. Yep. But in the Microsoft ecosystem bubble, the One is doing better than the 360 ever did, right? At this point in time. It's selling really, really well. There are more people on Xbox Live now than ever before. Even though it's not doing numbers like Sony, compared to past generations, it's doing pretty well.
Yeah.
So you can't blame it on the system not growing.
And this is not about marketing deals, right?
Right.
Because I mean, Sony's not publishing either one of these games that I talked about, and from what I've seen, there's no like Sony marketing of Shakedown Hawaii. If anything, that's going to go to Nintendo, because Nintendo had them on their indie, their indie platform. Right.
They've revealed the game exclusively on their Nintendo Indie Direct or whatever they called that thing. So if anything, they'd be connected to Switch.
Yeah. So and listen, guys, if you're watching this, you're waiting for an answer, I have bad news for you. We're not going to be able to answer this for you.
Right.
But it is a big concern. Another game that comes to mind is Lawbreakers. Lawbreakers is Cliffy B's next game, and it's coming exclusive to PC and to PS4. Now, he came out and said that he could only develop for one platform. Now, that makes total sense, because if you're only going to put it on one console, you're going to put it on the one with a higher install base. Mm-hmm. That's fine, and that's okay. But still, it's like this guy made his like, he got his name for making Gears of War, which was an Xbox, property. It just blows my mind. I think about Kingdom Hearts, right? Kingdom Hearts it's probably not going to be out till 2020, but Kingdom Hearts 3 is confirmed to come to Xbox, and they've just recently put Kingdom Hearts HD on PlayStation 4. That's not a game published by Sony. Nope. Sony has no dog in that fight. They can easily port that game over to the Xbox. And is it now? Maybe it is, but it's not. It's not here now, and it's been out on PlayStation for a while now.
Well, and with that, it seems like when games finally do come to Xbox, there's like little fanfare, or people forget they exist, because like Broken Age, like we mentioned recently, I think on last show, Broken Age came to Xbox One over 2 years after it released everywhere else. Yeah. And they never really told us why. I mean, Double Fine is awesome. I love Tim Schafer. I love everything they do. I think he seems like a really awesome guy, and they're very good about giving updates on things. Yeah. But they said it was eventually going to come to Xbox. They just went quiet for years. And then they probably thought, oh, wait, we promised it was going to come to Xbox. Boop. And they put it out. And like Edith Finch, I can't think what's the game called? Edith Finch.
What Remains.
What Remains of Edith Finch. Thank you. Yeah. Like, that came out was it a year or two ago? I think.
No. I think it's only been like 2 or 3 months.
Okay, for some reason I thought that had been out a while.
It's this year.
I guess because I've just been hearing about it it's been on PC for a while, though, right?
I don't know when it came out on PC, but it came on PS4 earlier this year.
If games are coming to Xbox, right? At least give us a window, because at least for me, it's frustrating to think, okay, they said it's possibly going to come to Xbox.
Yeah.
Do I wait? I mean, now for most people, if you only own an Xbox, it's not going to be an issue. Me, I prefer Xbox, right? I love the controller. I love the interface. I love, Xbox is my go-to system. But if there's a game coming out on PlayStation and Switch, but not Xbox, it's like, and I really want to play it, do I wait to get it on the system I prefer? Or do I pull the trigger early? I just wish that developers would be open about that. Like, I understand if you're a small company, you're like, we can only develop for one system, 2 systems, totally get it. At least say, yes, it is coming to Xbox, or it's possibly coming to Xbox. At least let us know. I mean, that'd be great. Say, we expect an Xbox. Now, I understand sometimes you've got exclusive deals and all that where you're not allowed to mention when it's coming elsewhere. But
we're not talking about deals. We're not talking about deals. Understand. And listen, we're not crying. I mean, I want to play Fire Pro Wrestling, and I want to play it on my Xbox One. I want to play Shakedown Miami, and I want to play it on my Xbox One. More than likely, I'm going to buy that game on launch on my 3DS because I really want to play it. I loved Retro City Rampage. I really want to play that. All we're trying to kind of even discuss is just I don't understand why this is happening. The other side of this, though, is like Microsoft is working to make Windows a universal platform. This has been their goal for like the last year and a half, where basically there are universal apps. I mean, they just announced a couple weeks ago that iTunes is going to be coming to the Xbox One because it's a Windows universal app. So if these games are releasing on PC, like, they have to be able to run on Windows.
Right.
So if they're running on Windows, why can't they run on the Xbox hardware? Now, I'm not a developer. I realize that there probably is some reason, but I can't imagine that we're talking about months and months of extra development to put it on a console. I just can't imagine that's the case.
Right. And Microsoft has said that Xbox One is just running a modified version of Windows 10. Like, we know that. So you're right. Like, it doesn't make sense. It's got the architecture of a PC. It's running, like I said, a modified version of Windows as the UI. Why can't it work? I don't know. I mean, every developer is different. They all have a certain budget they have to hit. I mean, honestly, if you're a small developer, you have to go where the gamers are. Why they're picking PlayStation? I mean, it's, beating Xbox at least 2-1 right now. Totally makes sense. Yeah. I don't understand why.
Yeah. So look, so let's to kind of tie this up. Look, your exclusive games are always gonna be there. Unless we can one day get to a one console future, which will probably never happen. Like, you're always gonna have exclusives, and that's fine. Like, I've come to terms with the fact that I'm not gonna play Spider-Man because Spider-Man is PlayStation exclusive and they're paying for that. And if you're a PlayStation owner, you understand that you're never going to play Halo. It's not going to get there. But with games like this, smaller indie developed games, I understand a game like Lawbreakers that's only coming to PS4. But when a developer comes out like Shakedown Hawaii and they say they're coming to every console available, including the dead PlayStation Vita and the dying 3DS, but they're not going to come to the second leader in the console race, I just don't understand. Now, maybe they have some sort of partnership with Sony behind closed doors, and they're, and maybe that's there. And I'm not trying to project, but maybe that's there. I don't know. But at the end of the day, like, there has to be a reason, and we don't know what it is. And maybe ID at Xbox, maybe they've changed some of their guidelines, and maybe they're making it harder for them to get certified. Sure. I mean, there are obviously things there, but like, this should be talked about. And if you're a gamer, like, you should not be okay that games like this are coming to every platform but yours. And maybe if there is enough of a conversation around this, if it is something like ID at Xbox, maybe they'll they'll start making, you know, some concessions and start working better with these developers to get the games over. But listen, if you don't make your voice heard, like, we're never going to see change in this place. So if you want games on the platform, like, let's talk about it. Tweet ID at Xbox, you know, tweet Xbox and be like, look, I want Shakedown Hawaii. What can we do to get this on the platform? And start having those conversations. If enough people ask for a game and Microsoft knows they're going to get sales from it, they're going to go after those games. We have the ability to do that. All we have at the end of the day is our voice and our money. And at this point, nothing's available to buy. So all you can really use is your voice. So, you know, look, when something comes up and I see that, I instantly go to the developer and on Twitter and I tweet at them.
Right.
And a lot of times they're great and they'll tweet back and they'll give me realistic, you know, Studio MDHR tweets me back almost every time I tweet at them, which is awesome. You know, like I said, you know, with Shakedown, V Blank Entertainment Tech, you know, they tweet me back almost instantly. They want to have conversations, and so you don't have to go out and hate on everything, but we should have these conversations. If you love your platform and you want to see games on it, like, let's get out there and let's talk to the developers and see what we can do to get it done.
Absolutely. I completely agree. And I think one thing you said is probably true as well, because when you ask developers why things aren't coming to Xbox, majority of the time the answer is some kind of certification issue. So maybe Xbox and Microsoft need to kind of rework their certification, because if you remember during Xbox 360, they had that kind of agreement where if it doesn't come to Xbox first, it's not coming at all. Then they said if it's not coming to Xbox first, it has to have extra content. And now they kind of open that door a little bit more. But I'm assuming there still must be some kind of fence there. We just don't know about.
Yeah.
So hopefully all this stuff going on behind the scenes we don't know about, because we're just two guys on the internet complaining.
We're not complaining. We're just trying to make sense of, you know, you are a multi-console person. Right. I am basically Xbox only. I have a 3DS
and a Switch.
Well, sort of. My kids have a Switch. So pretty much any game that I play, I'm going to play it on my Xbox. Right. So when I hear stuff like this, like, you know, if I didn't have a 3DS, I literally couldn't play this game.
Right.
And you know, and so that's disappointing. So look, we're not necessarily complaining, and don't go tweet, you know, at the developers and be like, oh, we hate you guys because you're gonna bring your game. Right. Look, they have a reason for doing it, and I'm not questioning that. All I'm saying is that if we let our voice be heard, like, they're gonna hear that, and they're gonna see the demand and the desire for that game, and they're gonna push harder to get their game. And if Xbox hears enough of their own players, you know, not complaining, but being like, hey, we love this game, we want to see it on our platform, they will eventually do something about it, you know. So we have that right, and we have that ability.
And honestly, if you look at Xbox's indie scene, they've got a really strong indie scene. But the main issue is, for every awesome win, like a Cuphead, we've got something like this, I can't think,
Meteor Hunter. Ethan Meteor.
We've got issues where games won't be coming to the system. So, what do you guys think? You know, why are certain indie games not coming to Xbox? Why are they coming to everything under the sun except Xbox? You know, let us know in the comments if you're watching on YouTube or in the Mixer live chat. You can also hit us up on Twitter at the Xbox Dive, and also don't forget to hit us up in our community group. That would be awesome.